Recorded live from the Lyons Den in Vidor, Texas, it's the Rant Squad. Salutations and welcome to the Rant Squad. I am your host, the waterdog. This is
Jordan.
And this is
Jordan.
And welcome to season 2, baby. Season 2 of the big show. We're going to be rocking and rolling, and today we're going to be giving you our playoff predictions and our Super Bowl predictions because we are the experts, man. What can we say? So we're going to do it to it, man. We're going to get things kicked off and kick-started fast. So we're going to be starting with the AFC predictions. We're going to go with the AFC East. My man, Clint, who you got?
You know, I really took some time, and I think there's going to be some rumbling in this division. I've got a surprise for later, but I don't see anyone dethroning Buffalo. You got arguably the top quarterback in the NFL, last year's MVP. You're returning a lot of your squad. The offense is pretty much in whole. I don't know of any pieces they really lost in the offseason. I think you're going to have Keon Coleman in his second year. I think you're looking for a nice increase in production for him. I like Josh Allen. I like the team they've got, and I don't see anyone dethroning them in that division as of right now.
You're absolutely correct. It's going to be the Buffalo Bills. Brendan?
Yeah, I think we've seen this really since 2000. Whoever's the dominant team in that division, they're going to dominate it. And I don't think the Jets, with what was it, an 18-year-old,
let's not mention them.
Running their organization. We're already starting episode 1, the segment 1 on this one. I don't think, Miami, I think they're going to be an okay club, but not that. The Patriots are going to get better, but I don't think they take that step, and Buffalo is going to win that division.
All right, so it's a clean sweep there. We're going to all take the Buffalo Bills. We're moving into the AFC West. Clinton?
Now for my first surprise.
Oh, here we go.
So I looked into all of the Super Bowl losers from about the last 5 years, and it seems like every single one of them has had a hangover. You go back, Cincinnati didn't do anything. 2 years ago, Philly, they started really hot, but then they just absolutely took the face plant down the stretch and lost in the first round of the playoffs. And then you had the 49ers not even make the playoffs last year. So I think we see a stumble by the Chiefs, and Jim Harbaugh, he always has his team. He turns it around year one. He gets into the playoffs. But then I remember when he took that 49ers team, they were dominant his second year. And so I think the LA Chargers, for the first time in who knows how long, is going to win that division and dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, you're absolutely wrong. I think the Chiefs got better this year, and I think that Patrick Mahomes is coming into shape. It's kind of reminding me of watching Luka Doncic right now. Luka Doncic, did y'all see those pictures of Luka Doncic? My goodness gracious, it's like he lost 50 pounds. And Mahomes is the same way. It looks like he lost some weight. They're going to come in angry. I mean, even Kelsey seems to be a little bit more focused on football.
I love that.
That was a bad beating they took in the Super Bowl, and I just don't think that this is the type of team that's going to let that slide. So I look at the Chiefs that really did have another dominant year. So
and maybe that's what it is. You look at all those other games; they were all close, right? Like they were close, but all the losers had a chance to win the game and could have won the game. Whereas this was just a beatdown. So maybe there isn't a hangover because it's like they knew they lost in the third quarter. Now they were already focused on the year. So maybe I just like a surprise. I think the Chargers. There's been a lot of negative talk about Justin Herbert. He can't get it done in the playoffs. He hasn't gotten it done in the playoffs.
But you can say that for a lot of quarterbacks here over the last 10 years because in the first, in the last decade, it's been Tom Brady and it's been Patrick Mahomes. So if you've been a quarterback during this era, it's hard for you to really have a resume.
But Herbert's been a favorite. I mean, they let Jacksonville come back down like 4 scores. They got demolished by Houston last year. I just think they're also going to come in with a vengeance. I think they're going to be better.
All right, Brendan, who you got?
This is the hardest pick for me. Because last year, I was very, unbiased. Kind of been picking this, new Raiders fan, because Tom In this offseason, I have been baptized in silver and black. From head to, I'm a reborn football fan in the Church of Al Davis.
What is this, the 6th year in a row he's been reborn?
But
You can't stay with a team.
well, hey man, when Tom Brady buys a piece of your team, they're going to win. Okay? And for as good as I think the Raiders are going to be, and we're going to get into that later, we talked about this kind of before the show. I think it's going to be the most competitive division in all of football.
I agree with that.
And if I've learned anything, the Chiefs find a way to win. And so give me the Chiefs to repeat. As division champions.
I was marking down Raiders.
Well, if you look at it, they find a way to win.
They do.
And my
They're
argument with this
resilient.
is we've talked about it, the luckiest team in football. Like, they could not lose a game. Blocked field goals. They pass interference not called. The Raiders, instead of spiking the ball, they throw it out of bounds and get a penalty. Or they fumbled it. They find ways to win. I think they're going to just repeat it. And so give me the Chiefs to win that division.
All right, we got 2 on the Chiefs, and we got the LA Chargers. We're moving down to the AFC North, Mr. Clinton.
This is another surprise I have.
All right. I already think I
Cincinnati?
have an idea. I think I know he's going to take too. I think he's a love fest with Joe. Is it?
Hopefully not Cleveland.
No.
It's the Pittsburgh
Wow, he's
Steelers.
going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Give them a quarterback, Rodgers. It's going to be a second year off the Achilles. I've seen what Mike Tomlin does with a team that doesn't have a quarterback, and he goes 500, he gets to the playoffs, and now they've got a guy that can get them through the clutch moments. I think their running game is going to be better without Najee. I really do, because I like Jalen Warren a lot. I like the rookie they drafted. I think he's going to be good. They got DK Metcalf. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is I saw a practice route the other day, and it was Rodgers dumping it off when Pat Freiermuth was out wide and open. So that's my one worry. It is Rodgers. I think he might be a little gun shy the first couple weeks just because he was so used to that Jets offensive line where he didn't have any time to do anything.
But he's going to have kind of the same problem because the Steelers line isn't that strong, and they've been having trouble.
But
running
there's
the football
different.
in
But
training
there,
camp.
I realize that, but this is also a Steelers team that they find a way. They find a way to be competitive. They find a way, and I think with the right leadership of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, I think Mike Tomlin is a coach that can hold Aaron Rodgers in check, and you're not going to have the drama. And if you have a focused Aaron Rodgers with a typical Steelers disciplined team, I mean, I just think it's a recipe for success. And I think they're going to win a lot of games down the stretch. And this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah. This reminds me of Favre going to Minnesota. It really, really does. I think it was a team that had a lot of pieces. That was a quarterback away. And I really do. I don't know why. Listen, Rodgers has not done anything to suggest this is going to be a great year, but call it just blind lust. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All righty. I'm going with the standard bearer. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I still think that they're the cream of the crop. For all the things that there's a lot of people thinking that the Bengals could have a chance of doing this. I still think the Bengals have the same problems that they've had. I just think they're a Jamar Chase.
No defense.
They're a Jamar Chase injury away from absolutely nothing to me. And so, the Steelers, they can't run the football. And if they can't run the football, they're just not going to be successful. And they couldn't run the football effectively last year. And they really haven't upgraded the offensive line, which was their number one need. Defensively, I think they're going to be better. Defensively, all the pickups that they made, that defense is going to keep them in games. Now, if Rodgers can get them 24 points a game, yeah, they'll do it. But they got to get 24 points a game. And so, but I'm going to say it's got to be the Ravens. The Ravens, to me, are still the cream of the crop, and so we're rocking from there. What you got, Mr. Brendan?
In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast. I think Pittsburgh, for the past 50 years, has been a very well-ran organization. And when they have above-average quarterback play, they're generally in the playoffs. And you can only really probably name a handful of years in 50 years that they haven't been good. So I think Mike Tomlin, a veteran coach, and bringing in Aaron Rodgers, You know, the quarterback play they got last year, and they still made the playoffs, right? So you're adding in Aaron Rodgers to this?
Well, my thing is this. I think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers right now in their careers. So I think you're downgrading from Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers.
I disagree.
But that's just me.
Okay. Caveat here. If we see Rodgers more than 3 snaps on opening day, Pittsburgh's going to win this division.
Oh, okay.
Wow, me and Brendan, I'm surprised. I thought that was going to be my.
No, it's when you look at it. It's the organization. We're going to get into this later with some other teams. We talked before the show. When you have a well-run organization with good coaching, and you have above-average quarterback play,
I thought I was going to be on an island. All right.
Well, I just think that when I looked at Smith's offense last year, there was just nothing special about it. And I just don't see how you're going to improve
Aaron
with it.
Rodgers is the special.
Well, Aaron Rodgers can be the special that, but Aaron Rodgers, even last year, and I thought he played well last year.
But it's with a bad, and he did play well. He did play well. If you go back and look at his numbers, they were surprisingly good.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It's all about the organization.
They have to give the keys to the offense, just the offense, over to him.
All right, we got 2 on the Steelers, and we got 1 with the right choice, the Baltimore Ravens.
The problem, here's my problem with Baltimore, and this is not trying to make these, things. If Rodgers goes down, Pittsburgh can still win games. They've shown that with all the quarterbacks that they've had in the past. If Lamar goes down, Baltimore's done.
Look, I was on the Steelers last year to make the playoffs. I just think that the top echelon team, the North used to be the major powerhouse in the AFC as far as the teams. When you look at the teams, when you look at all those teams, you always could think Steelers, Ravens, and stuff like that. I think the dynamic of the division has shifted to the West. I think the West is now the division you're going to have to look and say there's going to be 3. There's going to be 3
I think the
playoff
North
teams
is still
for the
the
West.
second best division.
You're going to see 3 teams in the West, and possibly.
That's not hard to
And we
say.
talk
The
about-
other 2 divisions are, we're talking about first and second graders here.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just simply saying that's where it is. But here we go. Let's do the South. If we were talking about them, let's do it the South.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to be a coaching dumpster fire. Indianapolis doesn't have a quarterback that can throw the ball 5 yards, and Jacksonville sucks. Houston all the way.
Yeah.
I think Houston. I think D'Amico has heard nonstop about this offensive line. I know they traded Tunzel, but they have a camp. The focus is on this offensive line. I've heard really good things with the 2 rookie wide receivers, Higgins and Knoll, with Stroud coming along. I think Stroud heard a lot this offseason, heard a lot of noise. And really, he didn't have that bad of a year, y'all. But yes, I think he threw 4 or 5 more picks than he did. He threw the same amount of touchdowns. Peyton Manning even said, how can you criticize a guy? 2 straight years, first 2 years, and he makes the playoff and wins the playoff game. He's like, I didn't make the playoffs till his 3rd or 4th season? Like, Stroud is a true leader. They had some tape on the dang guy. Yes, he had injuries. He can't keep a wide receiver core together to save his life. But Stroud is focused. I think he heard a lot of noise. I think there was a lot of hype going into last year, and so maybe he was a little relaxed. And then coming off of this year, I think there's been a lot of noise, and he's ready to prove the doubters wrong, show why he is. Because last year everybody had him as top 5. Now people barely have him in the top 10. He's gonna come. He's ready to. He's got a fire under his butt.
Well, there's a lot. We were talking about this earlier, me and Brendan. We're talking about the sophomore slump where you had this great rookie year, and it's the second year where they've got tape, where you're going to have some changes and stuff like that. And so, how do you handle it? And I thought that Stroud had a good year. I don't know if there was a step down, or you could say it was a step up, or if he stayed the same. But he had a good year.
I think the teams just got better against him. They just knew they knew what was.
And I agree. They won a playoff game. And they won that playoff game
handily.
Yeah,
and they had chances to beat the Chiefs.
They did, absolutely. And so I'm with you. I'm on the Texans. They're still the cream of the crop of the South right now. So if you're always looking at things like who's got the best coach in that division, it's the Texans. Who's got the best quarterback in that division? It's the Texans. And so you got to go Houston Texans.
The one thing that worries me is if we're missing Joe Mixon, we've got to make sure we can get a running game, and hopefully Nick Chubb is healthy.
Brendan?
To be honest with Joe Mixon here, if they're going to play Houston Texans offense, which is 2-10. We're going to start off 2-10 or 2nd and 10 every series because they're going to try to run it right up the middle and get nowhere. I think if you pick anybody but Houston in this division, you're going to Vegas to pay off your house. Okay, because this is really. It feels like the Patriots.
Okay, all right. Since we're all on Houston, let me ask you this: you can't pick Houston. What are the other? Which team has the best opportunity to dethrone Houston?
Colts. I don't even think quarterback play. Jonathan Taylor. I think a run game
Really?
there.
See, and I'm on the Jaguars just because they've got the most. In my opinion, they do have the most talent in the division. The Jaguars. They just never put it together.
Let's go wild cards. Wild card predictions, brother.
Well, in my 5th seed, I didn't have them win the division, but they're always going to find a way to make the playoffs, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. They got arguably best quarterback in football. They got the best coach in football. They're going to find a way. The 6th seed, again, don't have them win their division, but I think they've got a top coach, and that's John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. They got a great quarterback. They've got a good run game. The defense is always intense, high octane. Going to find a way. And now my surprise. It took me a second to really, really dig in and find who was going to be the change. Because I think the AFC, like you said, it is a little bit more predictable. I think you just look at who's got the best coaches, who's got the best quarterbacks. And I looked at this team and I said, I couldn't believe this coach was out of football last year. I think they're going to have a second-year quarterback that's going to make strides. And this coach is going to reshock the culture and bring them to the promised land because he always finds a way to make the playoffs. And that's Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. That is my 7th seed. I've seen their schedule. They can make the playoffs.
Okay. Well, I'm almost, like I said, lock, stock, and barrel with you. Got just one difference, but we're pretty close there. I got the Broncos making it. I just think that, Sean Payton, Knicks, there's just a good combination. That defense is stout. Probably the best defense in the AFC West. Probably the second best defense to the Steelers overall in the whole conference. So I love it. I'm going to go the Los Angeles Chargers, and then I'm with you. It's the New England Patriots. And the reason why I say that is the same reasons you've got. Coaching, I like the quarterback. Josh McDaniels is going to be back as the offensive coordinator. I think that's the help. But you also just look at the schedule. I'm just looking at who the Patriots have and who they're going to play against. And when I look at this, I just see a lot of wins for them. Week 1, I like them against the Raiders. Week 2, I like them against the Dolphins. Week 3, could be a toss-up against the Steelers, but I think they beat the Carolina Panthers in 4. A loss to the Bills. They beat the Saints in Week 6. They're going to beat the Titans in Week 7. They're going to beat the Browns in Week 8. Week 9 against the Falcons could be a toss-up. And then you look at the Buccaneers Week 10, that could probably be a loss. But I do see a 7-3 scenario within the first 10 weeks. Then you got these games that I think are wins. You still got the Jets in Week 11. You got the Giants in Week 13. You're going to have the Jets in Week 17. You're going to have the Dolphins in Week 18. And so that's at least going to be anywhere from 10 to 11, wins. And I think with, 10, 11 wins, that's a playoff team. I like the Patriots in the playoffs. Brendan.
All right. So first, coming into 5th seed, they got the Ravens. I think they don't win the division, but they're too good not to make it. Kind of like y'all talked about the Chiefs. And the Ravens are too good not to make it with a healthy Lamar. I do think the Chargers are going to make it. Jim Harbaugh is very good. I think the rookie running back has got a lot of praise through camp so far. I think once they get Najee in there and they can have a 2-headed running back system, that could be really good. And then the final seed, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think, you're both on the Patriots. But I look at everything Vegas has. And I watched them all last season. And they lost probably 7 to 8 games on coaching and horrible quarterback play. So I think getting Geno Smith at quarterback is a very big upgrade. I think getting the rookie running back, I think is really going to have a lot of votes for offensive player for rookie of the year. I can see the receiving core is a lot stronger all around. But the 2 rookies, and I'm telling you, this is the one to watch, is Dante. He's the field stretcher. It's going to be really good for them. Of course, Brock Bowers, the offensive line is a little shaky. But we're going to go through the schedule here. Your schedule. They start out at New England. I know we're going to be pickles, but I'll bet you on that one. Okay. They're going to beat the Patriots. Okay. Now, week 2, they got the Chargers coming to Vegas. I have the Raiders winning that. Okay. Then I have Vegas going to Washington. That's a loss. I'm just going to chalk that one up to a loss. I think it's a toss-up game, really. But for this purpose, we're going to go with a loss. Chicago, that's a win. The Colts, that's a win. Tennessee, that's a win. At Kansas City is a loss. I think they will lose at Kansas City by 1. Now they're going to beat Jacksonville. They lose at Denver. I think they beat Dallas. They beat Cleveland. They will lose at the Chargers. I think they're going to split all their divisional games. I think the home teams are going to win. Denver at Vegas. Vegas is going to win that one. They lose at Philly. I have them losing at Houston, which I think is another toss-up game. But for this, I'm just going to, it's a loss. They're going to beat the Giants. In a Week 18, they beat the Chiefs at home to clinch the playoff spot, going 11-6.
Okay.
Sure. I'm just telling you. Now, they're not winning the Super Bowl, but the Raiders are a playoff team.
All right. So we pretty much, really the only new teams that we've got is that me and Clinton have got the Patriots coming in, and then you've got the Raiders coming in. And that's really about the only thing. Other than that, we pretty much agree on these playoff teams. I just think the AFC is pretty easy to predict who's going to make the playoffs for the most part.